In the process of having the boy, I again went out on a date with the Muslim guy.
Okay.
So this Muslim guy was hovering around, always.
Yeah, I met him, and I think I mixed things there. It's the second pregnancy was when I was having the boy, but it was not for the boy. It was for the Muslim guy because he was not around. But the boy knew it was his pregnancy. And of course with Africans they say when you are pregnant you cannot sleep with the man who is not responsible for the pregnancy. And remember, my point of having a Ben-10 was to get a baby. Yeah. So I never wanted to lose my baby. My own father, who was a doctor, knew that this man was assisting, the herbalist was assisting women to get pregnant, those ones that have never gotten pregnant, even at any age. So he paid the man to come and give me his herbal stuff. So I'm not good at taking the herbal stuff. They make me lose appetite, and I just have phobia when I see them. So, but because I wanted a baby, I gave him. And this man that I'm having up to today also was also taking the drugs. I was even given the traditional ones that work the way like the hospital ones do, the medical ones do. This drug, the herbal, was to be used by the man. So you put the herbal in the condom, then you pierce it, then the man puts it on to push that herbal in your womb. And you see, when you go to hospital, you are being given, when you are being done those tests, the same is done to open those tubes.
Dear viewers, we are back. We were so absorbed in the story, we found our food was almost burning, but we were able to rescue it. We are back. The food is cooking. Now I have done the duty to cut the tomatoes for us, so that we can do both things at the same time to save on time. Lena was just telling us about the struggle with the relationships, as now she in that guest of dating and trying to find a child. Now we want to pick it where we left it. Now this boy. And I don't want Lena to call this a boy. Call him, he's a younger man, but he's a man. You know, when you call him a boy, you make him look like a child. So this young man, the parents have come. They are ready to test. Now he has also been motivated to test himself. They have tested their status. Now they have decided, with whatever the outcome, now they have decided to get intimate. Now, Lena, we want to pick it from there. You have now you have become what the current generation say. You have now become an item. Now, let us move from there.
Thank you. So this young man was not bad. He was good in the relationship, but of course, being young, he was having 1 or 2 girlfriends around, and you know it was now stigma to me. I was to make sure that these relationships with the girlfriends has to end, because as you know, girls have different partners, and it now risks your life. So I was like, I really wanted to know what he's doing, and with his friends being young and being nice, maybe seeing him, he was very comfortable maybe with me, or maybe I had taken good care of him, I could get advances from young boys. Yeah. So that is the worst thing that I experienced.
That happened now.
Yeah.
So other boys who are now started
making
hitting on you.
Okay. And then about the girlfriends were also like they never wanted to be beaten. So I kept competing with those girls until I was prompted to go and look for their parents. And one funny thing about me, I'm never ashamed of the situation. Now that it was all over, I could tell maybe the girl's mother that you can imagine your daughter dating a boyfriend who can date somebody like me. You know, we cannot compete. Just as they are looking where to meet, maybe in the bush, maybe where the boy is comfortably in my house.
So at this point, you You compromised your principles because at first you told us you are not someone who will
Yes.
follow a man around.
Yes.
But now this one has
Things
changed.
are changing.
Things
Has
are
changed
changing.
because now he had consented of knowing the status, and now I was like, I was now trapped.
Uh-huh.
So I could talk to the girl first, but when the girl was adamant, I could look for the parent. So the girl got scared, and I had him. But now, another thing that came around, he had just completed his Form 4 and he was joining college. Yeah, so he left for college, but he could come for holidays. But when he comes for holidays, it was not long holiday as we are seeing now. It used to be short holidays. But now even the community was now against. Like the church, we go in the same church. The church was against. And then the church had also to come in. So they were provoking the father to take him back home. So that he could keep off the relationship.
So that
Because now,
kijana asiharibike.
yes, the boy was also in the relationship that he could not. So there was a point that the church took him to stay in there
In the church.
Okay. Just to protect him
to
from
protect him, but he could still come.
Okay.
So maybe at that point, if I may ask, how did you feel about that? Because already that is, this is a church. You're expecting like
Support.
they should never judge you.
Yes.
You're expecting support from the church, and it is the same church that is now judging you. They're stigmatizing you to an extent of taking your man away from you. How do you feel about that?
I did not feel anything because he was trying to make sure that we meet. But now I was waiting for whoever. I cannot, the priest, to question me about it. So I had my answers, but fortunately, it never happened. No one came to me. Yeah. So now the challenge was the boy was on, off, and in the course I never got what I wanted. Then after college, he had to leave. Then when in the process of having the boy, I again went out on a date with the Muslim guy.
So this Muslim guy was hovering around, always.
Yeah, I met him, and I think I mixed things there. It's the second pregnancy was when I was having the boy, but it was not for the boy. It was for the Muslim guy because he was not around. But the boy knew it was his pregnancy. So now the challenge came in because I was pregnant and he had closed school. We were not the same because I was advised by the doctor that I'm not supposed to engage in sexual activity.
Because of your condition,
Yes,
Okay.
sexual activity. So, I and of course with Africans, they say when you are pregnant, you cannot sleep with the man who is not responsible for the pregnant. And remember, my point of having a Benten was to get a baby. So I never wanted to lose my baby. But it happened. I did some thorough cleaning. I had some backache. Then I called a friend who has a car. She drove me to Kitale to see my gynae. Then the gynae examined me and he was like, I'm not seeing the baby, but the umbilical cord. Is it the umbilical cord? Is there? So I was like, what? And has moved. Okay, the baby has moved from the umbilical cord. I'm not seeing the baby. So because he knew how I'm looking for a baby, he never wanted to
scare
He
you.
was like, now it has moved, but I'm describing for you a drug that will reverse the situation, that will not make you have the backache. So he described to me a drug that I still remember. It was called Premilat Depot. That drug was not in Kitale. That drug was not in Kisumu. That drug was not anywhere. So it was to be found in Nairobi. And then my nieces were come over after one day. So I was like, go to Transchem and then look for this particular drug. Then they got it. When they got it, when they arrived, of course it was late, but they brought me the drug. Because I stay near the health facility, I rushed there. Then I was injected. It was very expensive. I remember that time it was very expensive. Then that night, I miscarried. I had severe abdominal pains. Then I started bleeding. And my boyfriend was there. So I was like, rush to buy me some Always. Then he bought me some Always, but Always could not not work. So that is how.
The floor is too heavy.
Yes.
Okay. That's
so
how
that
you
is
lost
how
the baby.
I lost the baby.
Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Then I went back to the gynae. He did his stuff. Then of course I knew I was not barren. I will get pregnant
Another
again.
baby.
But now, after that, the boy went back to school, and after clearing, he went to Nairobi. So that is how I
He
lost him.
left.
Now it was another story of getting a different man. Now the Muslim guy, we had parted like that. He was moving back to Mombasa, and now I was not going to Nairobi, and that is how we kept quiet on each other up to today. So after like 5 years, I got another man, who is my current man. We stayed together. Then I now wanted again to get pregnant. But of course now, because he was staying with me in the same house, I used to take the Primilat depot, the Clomid. And I never fell pregnant. So I was prompted to go to a gynae again. And this time not the same gynae. I was told it's the best gynae in Kenya, who is Dr. Pallavi, the one of Medihill.
The fertility specialist.
The fertility specialist. So I went to Medihill. I booked my appointment. All the tests were done. And they were all the same as Dr. Kasembeli. Then the results were the same. But now, the challenge after 5 years now, you are 5 years older than
what you were.
Even more. So the fertility age was also now.
The biological clock was also going.
So Dr. Pallavi was open to me. And my friends like Caroline here has told me to go for surrogate or intrauterine or whatever. So I asked Daktari about it, but then Daktari was like, as you grow old, the value of the egg goes.
The quality
of the egg depreciates. So going for surrogacy is the one that somebody carries for me.
Yes.
The implant.
Intravitreal.
Yes. It's just like any other pregnancy. You can spend like maybe $500,000 or any that amount, but the challenges are the same. So because I have little savings and I'm still staying in a family house, I was like, now if I spend my money and then maybe I lose the baby, then I'll be more stigmatized. But Dr. gave me some hope. It was like chances of getting a baby was 50-50. And you see, as you try the hospital way, you're also trying the traditional way. Now, one of the traditional ways was I had a very bad experience. This traditional doctor, it's like I trusted in him. My own father, who was a doctor, knew that this man was the herbalist was assisting women to get pregnant. Those ones that have never gotten pregnant, even at any age. So he paid the man to come and give me his herbal stuff. So I'm not good at taking the herbal stuff. They make me lose appetite, and I just have phobia when I see them. So, but because I wanted a baby, I gave him. And this man that I'm having up to today also was also taking the drugs. I was even given the traditional ones that work the way like the hospital ones do, the medical ones do. This drug, the herbal, was to be used by the man. So you put the herbal in the condom, then you pierce it. Then the man puts it on to push that herbal in your womb. And you see, when you go to hospital, when you are being when you are being done those tests, the same is done to open those tubes. So the problem that I found that I had in hospital was narrow tubes. My problem is narrow tubes. And this narrow tube doesn't mean that you are barren. They mean that you can get pregnant, but you are supposed to have adequate sex. So that time I was having adequate sex.
The man was there.
I was trying the Clomid, I was trying the herbals. But now when the man was not there and I was telling this man, you are giving me the herbs and I don't even want the man. They were making me not sexually active.
Okay,
So I was like, if I want the baby and I don't want my man, he was also complaining. Now what is this? So the guy was like, hey, may I see your breast? So he touched my nipples.
That doctor said
That herbalist touched my breast. Then he was like, it's like this man is not doing the good job.
Oh, no.
I have assisted women to
do this, to get babies.
So I asked him, so you have a better way of doing it? Then he was like, why not? Then I was, which way?
Give it to me.
Then he was like, give it to me. For real. And when you look at the man, when you look at the man, he's tough, his socks are
so Lena, I want to understand this. This herbalist has given you drugs, and everybody, even your father who is a medical doctor, I think now this became a family affair. It's now becoming a family concern. Now the doctor father is thinking, no. Now that we have tried conventional medicine and it's not working, let us try this because I've seen it working. Now he contracts a herbalist to give you the medication with the blessing, and actually has paid him. But now this guy looks like he wants to take advantage. Now, instead of giving you drugs to use with your man, he actually wants to dispense it himself. Now, like he now wants to give you the baby himself.
And he was even thinking by touching my nipples, he will
arose you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, what? I went straight to my dad and said, I'm not taking those drugs. In fact, I poured them. And I was like, I'm not taking those drugs until that man never to come to my place. And that is how it ended.
Okay.
So a friend of mine, she works here at the county, was like, I have a spiritual man who also does the same, who helps women give birth. Then he had come to a prominent home in Sirisia, but because the man of the home had come, so he was hidden somewhere in a lodging. So she told me, let us go talk to him. So this man was like, do you have some oil or lotion that you've not used in your house? I was like, yes, of course I do. Then we went to my house with my friend and him. So he was like, bring the lotion, the lotion or the oil. So I had my giant Vaseline, and of course I was thinking it is to be blessed because it is big. I'll use it for a long time. Then I talked to him. He blessed him, and he was like, he went into a stress. So he's a spiritual man. You'll always think maybe God is talking to him.
Giving you a solution.
Like, hey, Pastor, what is wrong? Have you seen anything else? So he was like, I'm thinking, and I'm thinking so hard. You are thinking so hard. So I was like, share it with me. He was like, I'm thinking who will sleep with you to open you. So I was like, okay. So whom have you thought? Then he was saying, why not me?
Okay.
Then I told him, I closed my eyes, I opened them, you're out of my house. Then I was wild. You know when you are desperate looking for something, now I was looking for a panga to chase him out of my house. So it was sad, but now I took it the way I was. So I got rid of herbalists, I got rid of
the spiritual father.
Now, after going to Dr. Pallavi, of course, I was very sure that something will happen, just like it has happened before. But now, another challenge came. My brother was ill, so I was also on off. So after these problems, the man went on transfer. And going on transfer, he also had challenges. He cannot come often. So from that time, I've never had a child. Yes.
Up to now.
And so you called it quits?
No, because I'm still at childbearing age. But of course, with the doctor's caution that the quality of the egg is going down, and of course, regular sex is not there, and. But this man was for the baby. He wanted the baby, although he was not telling me that You know when somebody tells you he's married to you and he has not gone home for introduction,
Yeah,
he has
yeah.
not written any letter.
Or maybe he wanted the baby to assist you, so that because he has. Does he have babies of his own?
Yes, he has.
Okay.
So, but he was positive. At least he could take the herbs. At least he could remind me to take my drugs. At least he could console me and say, "Mommy, don't worry, it will just come." He still believes it will come.
And he was also ready to provide the sex.
Yes.
So that the baby can be found.
Yes. In fact, when I'm low, he could even call my sisters and tell them, "Now your sister doesn't want to have me. How will I help her?" You know. At least I got a supportive man, but now it has not worked.
It has not worked.
And as time is going on and on, I'm just hoping and trusting in God that maybe he will do something. But as a human being, I know it's 50-50.
Okay.
And at the same time, when you look for a baby for a very long time, you are told by the doctors that you should not be anxious. Even if you are in your fertile period and you are anxious and you are just having sex thinking you are pregnant, you will always have false pregnancies.
Okay.
So I trusted and believe in God. I reached a place and said, if it is God's will that I'll have a baby, it will happen.
Yeah.
But if it is not God's will, I'll not. Sometimes she tells me, can I have she tells me, you love children so much. Can we try surrogate? I feel so bad about it. Because as you know, surrogate is not legal in Kenya.
Yeah,
and at the same time, maybe you don't have those finances of
Keeping
cravings. And then somebody will tell me, I want this, I want that. After the token that you've offered. Then, of course, she was talking of a relative. If it is you, can you allow even let me say my brother's child, a daughter, or my sister's child,
for you.
She has never given birth. And then she's surrogating for me. I am very sure so many people not consent to that. And even if they consent,
there's no assurance that they will give you the baby.
They will give you the baby.
Yes.
So I was like, if it is the will of God, let it be done. If I'll have a baby, it's God. If I'll not have a baby, it's God. So that is how I keep myself going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe if I may ask, anyway, thank you so much for sharing your story. But I would love to know something. How do you feel? Like right now, how do you feel? Are you anxious?
Are you angry?
Are you angry?
Yeah.
Do you feel ashamed that you don't have a baby? Or how do you feel?
I don't feel ashamed at all that I don't have a baby.
Thank you.
But I always say, if it's God's plan is I will have a baby, I'll have it even up to 90. And if it is God's will that I don't have a baby, it's okay. But now the stigma comes in when you cannot correct anybody's child.
Sorry about that.
Like maybe when you are in a family, get together, I like children who are disciplined. I like people who are clean. I like when visitors are coming around, children are
behaving
clean. And then I like feeding children together. But when I see my sisters, maybe they want mtu anaita mtoto wake, then I was giving food to her own, and the others are there, I feel bad. Then when a child is making a mistake and then you correct, somebody will say, does she know the pain of
giving birth or raising a child? Okay.
And then at the same time, you cannot see an indisciplined child in the home and then you correct or you cane. You will realize that you are barren. Okay? You will realize that you are barren. If a child's neighbor comes to your place and plays around or breaks a window, then you are like, maybe you take the shoes and keep inside the house because they have run away. Like I had an episode where children were playing outside my house, and then the field, the stadium is just behind me. So I was like, watoto, cheza vizuri, don't break my windows. Then I doze a bit, then they do it again. Then I said, watoto, play with the caution, don't break my windows. Then they continued and broke my window. So when I got out, I thought I was dreaming because there was no child. And the ball was there. So what I did, I took the ball inside the house plus the shoes. Not with an ill intention or beating any child. Of course, a child who is disciplined will come and say, Auntie, I'm sorry. It is not even me, even if it is him, but it is so and so. And the child who is indisciplined will go at home without shoes or the ball. Then the father will question why she doesn't have the ball or he doesn't have the ball or the shoes. So I kept the shoes. Only one child, one boy came and then apologized and they gave the shoes. The others never came. But my immediate neighbor, in fact, who stays in my twin house, who was a friend, we go to the same church, was like, he calls my dad and tells my dad, this woman has taken my son's shoes. She wants to bewitch my child. And she's jealous because she doesn't have a child. So my dad calls me and tells me, this woman wants to come and fight you or even harm you because you took his boy's shoes. So I was like, I'm not giving up the shoes because I did not have ill intentions, but I just wanted to discipline the children by not beating, but by just apology or explaining what happened.
What happened?
Yes. So it was as serious as that. Then she did not wait for my dad's reply. So the following day, somebody is screaming out of my house. She was like, "Oh, Mama, toka nje. Come out of the house and see who I am." Instead of kneeling down and praying to your God and asking why you are not married and you don't have a child,
you are frustrating our kids.
You are frustrating our children. So I did not know because as usual, I was having a siesta on the same chair and I was dozing. So I hear some noises outside my house. So the whole estate was out watching what was happening. I'm innocent. So when I heard the noises, I looked through my window to see what was happening. Then I saw somebody like preaching, moving from the end of my house to the end, from her house to my end, and then she's, yes, come out. She was screaming like a mad woman, come out and tell me who I am. You think I'm scared of the way people are scared of you here? Come out and tell me why you want to bewitch my child. She repeated that several times. Kneel down and ask your God why you are not married and why you do not have a child. So that time there was Facebook, which many people did not have smartphones. So I was like, I wrote on my timeline that if children are playing outside, then you do this as I've explained. What could do? So people were like, you beat them, you know all the comments. So she went to the cyber and printed out. And because the brother was a lawyer around here, he was once even the speaker here around here. So he called and he wanted to sue me. So people were like, your name was mentioned, your name is not mentioned. So it went like that. Then when people see you are comfortable and you are not married, because like now people think I'm single because the man that I'm having, okay, I'm single because he's not married to me, he's not around. So people will always see, maybe you are comfortable and they are married and they are not, you are not. So they will look for things. So a woman just wakes up in the morning and like, hizi nyumba ni za nani? Then we're like, hizi nyumba ni za Lena. So people are like, hey, Lena ndio mwenye hizi nyumba ama anasimamia hizi nyumba. Kama ni za Lena sitaki, kwa sababu kuna siku moja aligombanisha mtoto wangu and I've never, watoto wake waishi karibu na mimi na wanaishi mbali kidogo na sijawahi wagombanisha ama hawajawahi nikosea. So like aligombanisha watoto wangu siku moja walikuwa wamekosa. Yeye anajua uchungu wa mtoto. You know? Such things. And then people will always say, like I had also a girl, she knows. I wanted to adopt that girl. I took her because she's my brother's grandchild, and I was staying with her from diapers to school going age. Then I was taking care of her in every way, school fees, clothing, whatever. And this girl was indisciplined, and I'm a disciplinarian. I could even go to school and tell how she's behaving and everything. But do you know, because she's not your child, even teachers will not listen to you. In fact, one of the teachers who came from a very poor family and was educating the brothers and sisters, one is now a journalist. I am very sure if I said his name, you know him. He was a student, and his salary was going to the siblings. See, he was my neighbor, and we were going to the same church. I used to provide him food because he could go hungry, na alikuwa amenielezea shida yake, because even he was an orphan. The mother was now a widow. So the same man that I assisted was the one that made a comment at school, the school of my daughter now, that na huyo mama akona mtoto. Just because I'm treating that girl in that manner because I don't have a child. Then another comment came, like when that child was that girl, that daughter of mine reached a place where I could not content her. Her manners were just too much for me. Then every time I could sleep crying and beating her, and then my pressures would go high. And then I was praying that she does her grade 6 this year. She has done, and then I'll let her go. Then we went on Christmas back at home. Then she was like, she refused to come back. So my brother did not want her to remain, but the girl insisted, so she remained at home. But you know, family members, some of the family members were like, I do not have a mother's instinct. And I was not asked by anyone to take care of that child. It's just because when she was brought, it is me who rescued her from wherever she was. She was needy. She was malnutrited. She had been raped by the husband defiled by the husband to the stepfather. And then she was in a bad condition. So when I took the girl, I took her home. I was like, my brother is milking, and the girl could be taken good care where she takes milk, and then she'll be fine. But when I was going home, the girl was getting worse. So I took her to take to the hospital. Then I felt it wise that I stay with her, that I make sure that her medication was well taken care of. Then I decided that now I don't have a child. Let me raise this one. But you see, that girl used to be with me knowing I'm the mother. But do you know, after one time she comes back at home from school, she was in a private school, she comes back, and then there was a relative who was around, then she tells me, Mama. Then I said, yes. Do you know I have a dad? And my dad is in Nairobi, and he will come in December with the plane, through the air. Then she was like, even my mom. So I was like, oh, so I'm not your mom? She was like, you are not my mom. My parents will be coming in December, and I will go see them. So I was like, oh, so who told you this? So she said, so and so and so and so and so. So I was like, if you have a dad and mom, then you could be staying with them. And if you could not be staying with them because of reasons, maybe they're in school, they're working, and then these parents will always take care of you. They'll pay your fees, and if they're not paying your fees, they'll bring you presents, they'll celebrate your birthdays, they will pay your fees, they will do things for you. Are they doing that? Then she was like, no. So the girl started being rebellious. And life with me changed completely. So when she refused to come back with me after this December holidays, people were like, I don't have a mother's instinct. And the same people maybe could not assist me when I was having that baby. And they have witnessed that girl. Change. And they have witnessed whatever I was going through. They have visited me. They saw how, or they have seen how that girl is behaving. You get to the point. Then children will always innocently ask you, Aunt Lena, wapi baba yako? Because you are not married. They come in your house and say, hey, sisi baba yetu amekuja, wapi baba yako? And then they could say, Aunt Lena, wapi watoto wako? they are my nieces, Stacy and Shanice. Believe Belly is my daughter. So they were like, Aunt Senge, why did you take Belly to stay with Uncle Wilbert? Then I was like, she was not behaving well. She's mannerless. I wanted her to behave. So they're always asking me, so you will not take her back to their
Because
home?
of manners.
You don't miss her. So I keep on saying because of manners.
Manners.
Then they say, but Auntie, we also do mistakes, bad mistakes. Sometimes we become mannerless. But our daddy and mommy has not
Taken us to
a different home. Please bring her back so that we play with her. Now you don't get the answers. Then you can meet a friend also who innocently asks, I don't feel bad about it. And I don't lie to somebody that I have children or I am married. I boldly say, I've accepted my situation. But now, that stigma of somebody asking you, why did you not have children? There are some people that will ask you in a good way.
Yes.
Then you will feel positive. But there are others who will say, hey, you will hear women talk saying, maybe she aborted so much and she could not have children. Then I'm asthmatic. Then I have had TB. So people will say, when she was sick, she's HIV positive. Sure, she was not taken. She was told not to give birth. You get the point. Then others could say, no. Do you know why she was having a mzungu? She does not have the private part. It is only hollow.
She doesn't have a uterus.
No, not even a uterus. The womanhood itself, you don't have it. It's just a hole.
Okay.
You don't have it because you are sick, and then it is just a hole. So a man cannot enter. Instead, a mzungu will enter through orally.
Wow.
You get the point?
Yes.
And when that girl misbehaved and I was at school, of course children know I love children, and when they come around I give them biscuits, I give them oranges, I give them what, so
small gifts.
Small gifts. So others were, hey, sisi tunataka kwenda kuishi kwa Antilena. Kwa Antilena kuna hii. But you know what the impression that the teachers have given to that girl, she feels so protective and she's making mistakes that
that are so obvious.
Watoto could say, sasa mtoto wake amemkataa na yeye akona kila kitu, sisi twende tuishi huko. But this one was saying, hey, she just pretends when you reach there, but when you stay with her, she really mistreats you. And she's a small girl. And people could say, always say, anajua uchungu wa mtoto.
That was the bottom line.
Yes.